So this is an advanced quadratic equation, and the reason why it's advanced is because normally we're used to questions like x squared plus 5x plus 6 equals 0, where the x squared has no number in front of it. In this case, we have a 2 in front of the x squared. So that we have to answer these questions is slightly different. So with this one, we still have to have two numbers that have to add up to 11 and two numbers that have to times together to equal 12, not 12, but two numbers that have to times together to equal a different number, but not 12. So two numbers have to add together to equal 11, and two numbers have to times together to equal whatever the timesing of these two numbers is. So we have to always times the number in front of the x squared and the final number together. In this case, that equals 24. So two numbers have to times together to equal 24. So now let's see which pair of numbers times together to equal 24. So we have 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, and 6 times 4. Now we have to see which one of these numbers would add together to equal 11. So which one of these numbers? And it would be 8 and 3. So 8 plus 3 equals 11. So that is the pair of numbers we'll choose. We'll choose 3 and 8. Perfect. So now let's rewrite the equation again. So we're going to write 2x squared plus 8x plus 3x plus 12 equals 0. So instead of writing 11x like we did up here, we're just going to write the numbers 3 and 8 because 3 and 8 will add up to 11. That's the only difference between this equation and the first equation. And the way I've organized these numbers is these two numbers, the 2 and the 8 are together, and the 3 and the 12 are together. So you want to pair the numbers in such a way that the two numbers are in the same times table. So in this case, 3 and 12 are in the same times table, and 2 and 8 are in the same times table. They're both multiples of each other. That's how I paired them here. Again, now with each one of these pairs, we want to factorize. So we're going to take a factor of 2x out. That will leave us with x plus 4. And the other one we want to take a factor of 3 out. That will leave us with x plus 4. So if you do this method correctly, the two numbers within the brackets will be exactly the same, and the two numbers outside the brackets will be different. So now when forming the double brackets, you want to write the two numbers on the outside together and the two numbers inside the bracket together. So you want to write 2x plus 3 in one bracket, and the number that's repeated, you want to write that in the other bracket, like that. Now to solve this equation, we want to, let me just move this question. Now to solve this equation, we have to understand the concept any number times by 0 equals 0. So if I make any of these brackets equal 0, it doesn't matter what the other number is in the other bracket, because anything times 0 equals 0. Okay, so now let's solve these equations. Write 2x plus 3 equals 0, and x plus 4 equals 0. In this side, we want to move the 3 to the other side. Whenever you move a number from one side to the other, it changes sign. That will become minus 3, and then divide both sides by 2. That gives us minus 3 over 2. In this one, you want to move the 4 over to the other side. That makes it go from positive 4 to minus 4, because whenever you move a number from one side to the other, it changes sign. So that leaves us with the answer of x equals minus 4, and x equals minus 3 over 2. Now moving on to the second question. First thing you want to do is times the number in front of the x squared by the last number. So do 3 times 10, which equals 30. So two numbers have to times together to equal 30, and two numbers have to add together to equal the middle number. So add together to equal 17. Now let's see which pair of numbers get us 30. 1 times 30, 2 times 15, 3 times 10, 5 times 6, and we'll stop there. Now we have to look at these numbers and see which one of these pairs of numbers would get us 17, and that would be 2 and 15, because 15 plus 2 equals 17. Now let's rewrite the equation out again, but instead of writing 17 as 17x, we're going to write 15x and 2x, because those two would add up to 17 again. So rewrite the equation, 3x squared plus 15x plus 2x plus 10 equal 0. The difference between this equation and the equation down here is just this bar here. We'll just split up the 17 into 15x and 2x because that's what we found out here. Okay, perfect. So the way I paired these numbers is I made the 3 and 15 as a pair and the 2 and a 10 as a pair because those two numbers are in the same times table. So they are in the same timetable, so 2 and 10 and 3 and 15. Okay, now let's factorize. 3x on the outside, that will leave us with x plus 5. And now on the other side we take a factor of 2 out, that will leave us x plus 5. Because the numbers in the bracket are the same, we know we've done the method correctly, and the two numbers outside the bracket are different, which is perfect. So now let's write the two numbers which are on the outside of the brackets together. 3x plus 2, and now let's write the numbers which are identical in the other bracket. X plus 5, and make sure to write equals 0. Perfect. Now, to make this bracket equal 0, just write 3x plus 2 equals 0. Move the 2 to the other side. Whenever you move a number from one side to the other, it changes sign, so it goes from plus 2 to minus 2. And now let's divide both sides by 3. I guess that's minus 2 over 3. And now let's do the same to this other number, 5. X plus 5 equals 0. And let's move the 5 over to the other side. And whenever you move a number from one side to the other, it changes sign. So it goes from plus 5 to x equals minus 5. And that is our final answer. X equals minus 5 and x equals minus 2 over 3. And now the final question. So we do the same concept again. The number in front of the x squared times the number at the end, which is minus 5, times them together. And that equals minus 20. And then the number in the middle, two numbers have to add together to equal the number in the middle, which is minus 19. The minus is with the 19. Now let's see which two numbers times together to equal minus 20. Instead of saying minus 20, we're just going to say 20, just to make it easier. So we go 1 times 20, 2 times 10, 4 times 5, and we'll stop here. Now we have to look at each one of these pairs of numbers and see which one would get us minus 19, and it would be 1 and 20, because 1 minus 20 equals minus 19. Okay, now we have to just rewrite the equation out again. Instead of writing 19, we're just going to write 1x minus 20x. 4x squared minus 20x plus x minus 5. Because the 1 here is positive, so I want to write plus x, and then minus 20 is negative, so I had to write minus 20x here. Take away 5 equals 0. So same equation as up here, and we've just changed these numbers here. Perfect. So the way I've paired these numbers is because 20 goes into the 5 times table and the 4 times table, I wanted the 4 and the 20 to be together, and I wanted the 5 and the x and the minus 5 to be together in this case. Because I could see that later on when I factorize it, I can get this to be equal x minus 5. So if I take a factor of 4x out, this will equal x minus 5, and that will be the same as the other side, x minus 5. And I want to put a 1 in front of here because there's only one of this. There's only one x minus 5 on this side, on the right side. equals 0. And I want everything to be in brackets. So the two numbers are the same. I always want them to be in brackets. So I want just to put that in brackets, I had to put a 1 in front. Now there's two numbers on the outside of the bracket which are different, and two numbers inside the brackets which are the same. So let's write the double brackets now. 4x plus 1, x minus 5 equals 0. And now we have to write 4x plus 1 equals 0, x minus 5 equals 0. Bring them 1 over to this side. Whenever you move a number from one side to the other, it changes sign. So that will become minus 1. And now divide both sides by 4. On this side, we want to just move the minus 5 over to the other side. So we'll go from minus 5 to positive 5. So our final answer is x equals minus a quarter and x equals 5. If you were to do this question, and instead of having them in this pair, and you had it as, for example, let's say you had it as x squared plus x minus 20x minus 5, you could still get the right answer. So you still get the right answer, but the numbers wouldn't be as nice. For example, on this side, you will take out a factor of a 20. You take a factor of 4x out again. That gets x plus a quarter. And the other side, we do the exact same thing. Sorry, we just take a factor of 20 out. So take a factor of minus 20 out, and that will make this x plus a quarter, like that. And the two numbers on the outside are different, and the two numbers inside the bracket are still the same, but the numbers are not as nice. So even if you did the other way around, it'd be fine, but the numbers would just not be as nice. So 0, and you realize that x values will still be exactly the same as the answers worked out above. So I'm just doing this a bit quicker, just to show you what would happen if you did it the other way around. This equals minus a quarter. These are our two answers.